Okay, amazing. We're live in the Facebook group. We are. Yes. Okay, let me see you all. There we go. Amazing. So we will slowly, gradually get into this, giving people time to find us. I know there's a few more of you joining us live, and we'll have people, lots of you watching on the replay. Oh, there's Christina. So good morning, Santhe. Good morning, Jen, Delphine, April. Okay, somebody's just lost signal. Christina, good morning, buenos dias. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's make this a fun, interactive conversation. I'm going to open up my chat so you can pose me questions as we go. Okay, all of the things that you're curious about, whether or not it is because Christina said good morning, all Delphine said good morning. Whether you are here because you're curious about what people do in a high ticket coaching container, what that looks like, you're here because you want to hear more details, because you're thinking in some future dates, this could be something for me, or you're thinking, I want to know now. I want to know now if this is for me. Pose questions, whatever flows. Okay. I will be super transparent with all of the things. And of course, speaking from the heart as to what comes forth to share with you. Okay, brilliant. So if you start popping your questions in the chat, I've got some from those of you who've asked before us going live, so I'll make sure I answer those as well. And of course, we've got the prize draw winners to announce, and a few of you are actually on the live, which is very exciting. Let me look at the names. Yes, amazing. So what we'll do is we'll announce the prize draw winners. And we actually decided to have more winners. My brain, I can tell it's the morning and I'm still allowing my coffee to sink in. So we have decided to have 3 winners per prize draw. Okay, rather than having 2, we're like, no, you ladies have been so present, so committed, and so all in with all of this. And we were looking through all of the numbers of those of you who did the sharing competition, those of you who did the all-in competition, and it just felt really aligned to have 3 winners for each. So that is very exciting. And today what we'll be talking about is the following, and you're going to find this really useful when it comes to speaking with clients as well. I will be speaking to the knowing in you of what your desires are so that you can go beyond fear and choose from a place of what is actually going to lead you towards what you want. Yeah, because there are multiple factors that come into play when we're making decisions. And it's, can we tap into what we actually want, what is actually going to move us forwards, rather than making it from what seems logical based on where we are now and allowing fears to get in the way. So we're going to be talking to a couple of different factors, and I invite you to really tune in, because this is going to be super useful when your clients come to you with things. You can see that something is so perfect for them, and you're like, why aren't you doing it? I know this is going to help you so much. And you'll be able to understand what is it that's blocking them, or what is it that's causing them to make a decision that maybe isn't getting them what they desire. So we have 4 main factors when we're making a decision. We have logic, we have excitement, we have fear, and we have intuition. Yeah, we have logic, excitement, fear, and intuition. So what we're looking to tap into is logic, excitement, and intuition, those 3, and help ourselves in the decision-making and also our clients in the decision-making with those. Because here's something, it took a while for this piece to really land for me. And I will come to the prize draw winners in a second. Let's follow through on this one. This took a little while for it to land for me. And then when it made sense, it really made sense. So for some of you, this is going to land me and go, yeah, I know that. That is how I now choose to move forward. You might have heard this before. And for others of you, you'll say, okay, yeah, I kind of get it. And then at some point it will really land for you. Let's say that you are really ready to call in clients that are excited to pay you more than your current rates. They're excited to stay with you for a really long time, and they love to recommend you to all of their friends and family, which those are hot leads, right? Recommendations are hot leads. Those are people who walk through the door. You know, you imagine someone comes to you and says, I've tried this shampoo. It's the best shampoo I've ever tried. You got to try the shampoo. How likely you are to buy that shampoo, right? When you're next in the shop, you're like, oh, I'm going to get that one, rather than all of the others. I'm not going to spend time reading the labels of the ingredients of all of the other shampoos. I'm going for the one that was recommended. And so it's the same with hot leads. So this is something that's so useful in our business, is to deliver such incredible experience service to our current clients that they recommend us. So this is, I'm assuming this is what you desire, right? It's clients that stay with you for decades, love paying you. When you raise your prices, they celebrate you. And this is something that happens in my spaces, is people celebrate when I put the prices up, because of how empowering that is for them as well, and seeing how the school grows and how my business is growing. Those are the type of clients that is such a joy to work with. They celebrate me as I grow. And so how do we attract that type of caliber of client? It begins with us being that caliber of client ourselves. So when we are somebody who looks for the gold, is excited to invest in ways that stretch us, wants to commit long term, looks for the ways to make things possible, so solutions rather than looking for the things that block us, when we choose to be that and to lead ourselves through our investments and through our fears and through the objections that we have to signing up to stuff, when we can lead ourselves through that, we then attract the clients who are that themselves, who lead themselves, and we can easily speak to objections. Because objections are often coming from the logical mind that knows what it knows. So let's say you're coming here because you're like, right, I'm ready for my next level of growth. So we want to look beyond making decisions from what is logical based on what we have now, and how can you make decisions based on where you are going? So what makes logical sense based on where you are going, not where you're at? And if you were to make a decision from the goal, you were set to say to yourself today, right, I see myself in 3, 6, 12 months' time, thriving in ways I never have done before. What makes logical sense to do now? And then you move from there. And you feel it in your body, because this is something that is super important for me as someone inviting people into a space, that you feel it in your body. And the feeling can be excitement, fear, you know, because it's that that juggling between excitement and fear. It's like, fuck, I'm gonna do it, and this feels really scary. And sometimes it's just a knowing. It's like, I don't need to know all of the pieces to know this is for me. And so I invite you, with any decisions you make, can you sense within you? I tend to listen to my heart. Other people, you know, you listen to your gut. I'm touching the solar plexus, but, you know, the lower belly. Can you feel in your body what your body says to you? Yeah. Let me open up the chat so I have my notes. Okay, fantastic questions. Is the school every day? Are the days mixed with online and replays? Are the sessions a little like what you've been doing during this week? Love these questions. So let's come to those in a second. Let's announce the prize draw winners, because that's very exciting. So we've got our first prize draw, which was the sharing one. Thank you for all of you who've shared. Really appreciate that, helping this community to grow. So we have 3 winners. We have Jen, Hannah. I know there are 2 Hannahs, so I didn't write down the surname. I need to double check the surname. So we've got Jen, we've got Hannah, we've got Kiara. Congratulations, ladies. I invite you, those of you who aren't on the live, I'll need to reach out. Pop me a DM, and what we will do is, my question will be, what is it you want right now? What do you notice will help you the most? And then let's look at the options that we are happy to create as a prize for you, and find the one that is the most exciting, the one that you go, oh, you know, like a kid at Christmas, and like, yes, this feels really good. And then we've got the all in, and ladies, all of you who went all in, the biggest prize is the change that you get to experience choosing to go all in on yourself. Yeah, I know that we love winning a prize, and the prize is choosing to go all in on yourself. So congratulations, all of you who did that. And then our 3 winners of that one are Xanthe, Tracy, and Glenna. Okay, Xanthe, Tracy, and Glenna. So congratulations, ladies. The prize for all in is extra special because of the commitment that comes with that. So again, let's chat in the DMs. I've already got some really amazing ideas. Obviously, Xanthe, you're in the school. Jen saying thank you with 3 big hearts. Yeah, excited to share the prize with you. So Xanthe, I know you're in the school, so we're going to look, and you're actually at the top level, you're in the cert, so we're going to look at something really exciting to add something extra special to this. And I've got some ideas that I know you're going to love. So let me cover a little bit about the 3 tiers, so that any questions that come up as I'm sharing, you can pop those in the DM as well. And then I'll go through the ones that are in the chat and that were sent to me before. So just let me go through my notes to make sure all of the important bits are covered, because before I've just been sharing from what comes through to share for you. So on the landing pages, you actually have a list of this membership is for you if, and then it gives you an idea. So you can read it and say, is this me? So this is a really nice way of knowing what's for you and what's not. So let me just open up those pages. So we've got our Awakening membership. This is the foundation of everything we teach. So if you were to enter into any of the other levels, this is one that for a minimum of a year is an important baseline, because it is everything that we create in our lives is born from our relationship with ourselves and how we feel inside. And so as we're going through, whether you're in tier 1, 2, or 3, let's say you're in the certification and something's coming up when it comes to holding space for a client, you can come into the awakening space and look at the tools, the mindset shifts, and we help you to shift that in real time. So the beautiful thing about how we run the memberships is we have the teaching aspect of it, where we go through how you can learn to empower yourself, to do the tools yourself, to what are the things that are going to get you the most incredible results. And we give you, I don't hold back, I give you all of the stuff. Yeah, I want to make sure that you genuinely get the results, not just like drip feeding it. And this is one of the things I'm continually growing myself, so there's always new material to bring. It's never that there's like, oh, now you've learned it all, which is really good fun. I've just seen that Chiara has joined us live. So Chiara, you're one of the winners of the prize draw, darling. Congratulations. I'll send you details, or pop me a DM when we finish the session, and I'll make sure you've got all of those details. Yeah. So as not to go into all of the things that we do in each tier, let me give you an idea so you can feel it. Every single tier has 1 live session per month, which is also replay. So it's all online. All of the stuff we do is online. We are looking to do things in person. We're not going to say anything until that is solidified. So everything that we do is currently online. And you have replays to everything. Some people purely come to replays. Some people like to be on all of the lives. Some people are half-half. The beautiful thing is, over a year of your life ebbs and flows, and you go on holiday and all of the things. So we want to make sure you have access easily to the stuff you want to watch. So you have one teaching session and then one coaching session for each tier in each month. What does this mean? Let's say you've got something coming up and you want to be led through that. Let's say in your business, you're setting up some new offers and you're not sure how to do it. You come into the live session and I coach you through it. I give you actionable steps. I help you to see what's going to work the best. But let's say you're not even at that space in your business. You've already got everything set up and it's really all mindset. So you're great at what you do, you know what to offer, but you're not having the people coming through. The money is not coming in like you would want it to. So then we go into coaching on the mindset shifts, on the frequency shifts. Yeah. So it's really you're learning, but the biggest part, and this is what I don't see in a lot of coaching containers, is the combination of both. Learning the stuff, but some of you will find, oh, I already know that. I want you to coach me through it. Yeah. So you get to also pick and choose. Here is something really important to share is you do not need to consume everything to get value from your investment or to get the results that you're looking for. Because the value of investment are the results. The value of the investment isn't how many sessions do I get, it's the results through being in the sessions, through being in the school. So this is our main focus. And my question always in my mind is, how can I assure that people in the school are getting the results that they want? And what is the way I can give them access to the things that will do that for them? So sometimes that actually means, and this is what we've done this year, is we've reduced the amount of time that we spend on lives. Because we realized as you want a certain amount of time for lives, you want to be applying the things as well. And you want to know you've got the support system. So if you got a question, we're there. Yeah. So we've reduced the number of times and we've employed, it's actually, for those of you who know Telegram, we've created a really amazing system where you can post questions and I will answer them as an audio if we don't have a live session coming up or if you can't come to a live session. So let's say you've got something happening with a client or with the cert, it's like, how do I do this? You can pose the question and then I give you 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute audio responding to that. Yeah. Also in the audios, you have a plug and play. So state change is a huge thing. Yeah, to get you the results, it's about how do I go from being to being excited, or how do I go from being in fear state to leaning into trust? And so we have a library and I'm continually recording these. Oh, I've noticed that for Chiara, this is coming up, or I've noticed through conversation, you know, for Xanthe, this is coming up. So I record something specifically on that for state change, and then you can find it in the group. Yeah. Let me just check the chat if there are any more questions. If you've not been in a container before, it's quite challenging to understand what the experience is like, having not been in one. So this is why I come back to this is feel it in your body, because when you know, and you adjust the things and it just works. It just works. That's all I can say. So let's go on to purpose and impact. We're actually, and this won't be rushed, we won't be suddenly doing it overnight, we're actually changing the name of purpose and impact because it doesn't capture the essence of everything that we do. Because purpose and impact, we realize that it feels more like it's about strategy. And it is so much more than strategy. The strategy, we teach you the things that will help you as you go along. Yeah. So I'm very good at seeing, okay, this piece is missing for them. They're focusing on the wrong thing. Put your attention there. Strategy is super easy. The biggest thing in the currently purpose and impact, and why we're changing it to empowered embodied entrepreneur, is because a lot of it is about embodiment. It's embodiment of your next level of success, of queenship, of being in your power, of acknowledging that the way that you think about yourself is what creates your reality. And so a lot of it is about exposing you to the thoughts and the ideas of the people that embody what you want to embody in yourself. How do I then show up in my life as that until I become it? Yeah, so it's a lot. I'd like you to think of the school, release the thought of it being about learning, if that's what you've got in your mind, and pick up the thought of this is about becoming. It's not about learning, it's about becoming. So it's not that you're learning what I do or how I run my business. You're learning to become the version of you who just, it's so easy to run a successful business. And this is a piece that's really become so clear for me in the last 6 months. And I'm really excited to bring it to the table. From employing strategies that I was learning from people to just understanding it. Where I see what's going on in my business and I'm like, I know exactly what to do. It all makes sense. And so this is what will be taught through the sessions we do in the business part. How do you get to a point where you don't even have to ask, what should I do? You just know. And then the last piece is the certification. So the cert is for you from two perspectives. If you're somebody who loves to continually learn, and maybe you're at a place in your life right now where you've taken quite a lot of courses, you've got quite a lot of expertise, and you understand a lot about well-being, wellness, healing, spirituality, nutrition, breath work, all of these sorts of things. And so you're not interested in taking a certification that teaches you the basics. This is a certification taught from someone who's done this for, it's probably around 30,000 hours now, over 20 years. Probably a lot more because I've lived this. And this is a combination of so many elements of how do you, with your knowledge, then channel that as a master coach and spiritual mentor. What does that look like? What does it feel like? How do I structure it? What makes sense? How do I take my clients to levels of transformation that I've not yet been able to do? And it's also understanding the piece on mentorship. So those of you who you recognize you're ready to become a mentor, because being a mentor is not about what you teach, it's about who you are. People don't pay a lot of money to learn facts. They pay a lot of money to be in the energy field of somebody who knows so much way beyond they would have to spend years understanding what you already know. And so that purely by being around you and getting the simplest of advice, their life changes. People who invest in mentorship, they think differently when it comes to investments. They understand the value of being in the frequency of somebody who's embodied, because that teaches them to calibrate to that frequency. And often they won't. Some of my mentorship clients, they literally tap into speaking to me a couple of minutes a week, and they pay a lot of money for it, because it's a lot less about those moments and it's about being in the field. Yeah. And so they will acknowledge something that's coming up, and with one simple question and one simple answer, something shifts. So mentorship really is about, who are you? How much do you believe in yourself? How solid and grounded are you in the value of who you are? And then you can hold space from another from there. Okay. So I think that covers like more, you get a more like meaty understanding of what each level consists of. We have one-on-one. Currently that is closed to new people coming in. Every now and then I will open up for maybe a mini short-term thing. Mostly it's long-term, okay? That is something future date. I want to have worked with people a little bit before opening the door to one-on-one. Prices, I know I've talked about this before, and then I will come to the chat. Prices are full price for level 1 is €3,000. Full price for level 2 is 6,000, and full price for level 3 is 9,000. We're in the third stage of our launch. So it's currently at half of the full price. Stage 4, it will go up more. We've not decided how much, probably 3/4, and then the final stage will be a full price. As we go through the year, that full price will increase. Yeah, because we're aware 9K for the certification is actually very low. And yes, we have monthly payment plans. Some of my clients, what they do is they pay a chunk and then we break down the rest into smaller monthly payments. Okay, is the school every day? No. Are the days mixed with online and replays? Yes. So we have the lives and the replays. What you do have every day is access to the things I record. I don't record every single day. I record very much from flow. You get to do this in your business. I'll be going out on a fasted walk in the mornings. I'll be watching the sunrise, and I'll record something that comes through for the awakening, for example. Yeah. Are the sessions a little like what you have been doing during this week? Yes and no. They really adapt to what the individual and group is calling for in that moment. I have a structure, and within that structure, I flow. Yeah, that combination of yang and yin. I'm very intuitive in knowing what serves people in each moment to bring that to the table. So we have a certain level of structure in the memberships, but we don't say module 1, we do this, module 1, we do that. No, because that won't serve you if that isn't relevant in your journey right now. Yeah, so it's very much taught from flow. What's the difference between tier 2 and tier 3? Is that you get a certificate, apart from all the learning we get, the inner work, mindset, etc. What advantage is there to getting a certificate? Great question. I totally get you, Rachel, and having someone on the other side giving us feedback and support is magical. Thank you for that comment. We've got Tracy coming in. Is it possible to be accredited in ICF after your course? Okay, really good questions. Let me actually answer the last one first. Hello, Tracy, darling. Welcome, welcome. As this is really relevant to then come back into the previous question. I really wanted to be able to create it in a way that you got to be accredited. And by speaking, because I've spoken to Yoga Alliance, I've been going through all of the rules to be accredited under different bodies. And to get that accreditation would limit the type of teachings that we bring to the table. Because this isn't a life coaching course, a certification. It's not fully, all yoga-based certification. This is a combination of multiple modalities that I've achieved through certifications that are accredited, that are then brought together to make it extra potent. So this is, you are accredited by the School of Total Transformation under the umbrella of combining science, life coaching, the yogic spirituality complex of mind, body, soul. There's a lot of different things that go in. And I didn't want to have to remove things so to be able to accredit the certification under a body. It didn't feel expansive, it felt contracted. Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. If we can, yes, we'll definitely do that. Currently now, they would make us take things out that I don't want to take out. And for those of you, question mark, with Yoga Alliance, I got to what's it called? The 500 hours with the badge, where you have to have a minimum of a certain numbers of thousands of hours and years of experience to get that. Yeah, and that was quite some time ago. So there is a lot of years of certification and experience there. So what's the difference between tiers 2 and 3? So through the explanation, obviously, I haven't been able to differentiate that so far. It's entirely different. It's entirely different. So tier 2 is focused about business, success, wealth mindset, money mindset, growth mindset, and then application of strategies. The certificate is learning how to hold space at a really high level for people who pay you a lot of money. What that actually means. Like what is it that, how do we speak to that caliber of client? And how do we hold space at that caliber that client wants to continue and continue? Yeah, and it just makes sense because we work at that level. So it's everything around how do we structure sessions, but it's also who are we as we give the session. How do you become, there's a lot of spiritual teaching in this because it's how are you a clear container so that you're seeing your client rather than yourself mirrored off your client. Yeah, so we're not in fear, we're not in lack, we're not in scarcity, and then needing the client to tell us who we are. This is super important to work at a high level. When you're working with a client, they can say some things to you about you, and that is not a mirror back to who you are. You know who you are. And so you're able to hold space for the client to explore why that's coming up for them. So you can actually hear them. They say, you're triggering me, you're doing this, you're not giving me what I need. You're actually able to hold space to find out what is actually going on here. How can I help you with this? And to take full responsibility if you're actually not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Oh yeah, actually, I did say something. I take full responsibility for that. So you can create that safe space where a real conversation can be had. I hope that gives more clarity there. So I'm going to come to a question that was posed in the WhatsApp group. Where are we? And then I've just got a little pointer list so you can get an idea what are the different outcomes in the school. So, hi Rachel, I'm very interested in joining the school for a year. My biggest concerns are about how much time, energy and focus and technical ability will be needed. I'll be joining you in the morning, so if you could cover this a bit, that'd be great. Okay. So when it comes to time, my question would be, if you're allowing the time to be a factor in signing up to something and using that as a reason not to do something, where will you be in 6 months and a year's time? Choosing the things that we do based on something like that, because this is a piece, I worked in fitness for a long time as a personal trainer. And this was something that I would talk to my clients about, because I would see so many people using time as a reason not to do the things. And then after a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, seeing what was happening with their health and seeing how the body deteriorated because they weren't choosing to find time to make the healthy meals and to do the exercise. And so it's the same with our business. The question, I actually pose the question back to you, do you choose to make the time for the things that make the difference? Do you choose to prioritize finding a way to make it work so that you can learn the things that are going to create more time for you in the future? And coming back to something Sally said, what were her words? I want to see. I think I wrote them down somewhere. If you don't do this, then what? If you're finding that you're currently in a place you don't want to be, what are you going to do to change that? And I know this doesn't answer the question directly. This is a big thing. It's about posing it back to you. Like, what do you want? And what are you going to do about it? I can tell you about time. Are you going to find a way? And this is a big factor that I've noticed that makes me so different to a lot of people who aren't at the level of success that I'm at in such a short period of time is I don't look at those reasons. I don't look at money. I don't look at time. I don't look at if it is for me. I feel in my body, my intuition leads me, and I make a decision, and I'm fast. I'm very quick at making decisions. I'm like, I want this. This is going to give me the tools. I choose it for myself. Rather than saying, do I have enough money? Do I have the time? And this is a really different way to look at things, but is a determining factor, that will move us forwards. When it comes to energy and focus, let's speak to that directly in technical ability. Technical ability, you can be both a beginner and very advanced. We will lead you to your next level. Yeah, so we have people coming in who are just starting, and then we have people who've been doing the inner work and business for a long time. So we have this ability to hold space at all levels, and all questions help the other people in the space. So whatever you ask helps everybody else. And so no, you could have no idea how to set up an email and you're sweet, because we make it very simple. And energy and focus is really posing the question back to you is, how much energy and how much focus do you want? And the sessions themselves, with my coach, for example, I take her to the gym, or my two coaches, I take them to the gym. I'm a replay girl. I very rarely go to a live, and I grow really, really quickly through listening to replays. I pop my headphones in, and whilst I'm doing my handstands and I'm doing my flow, I'm listening to my coach. Yeah, that's how I work. Or I go on a walk and I listen to them. Or I'm in the car and I listen to them. Or on the train and I download it and I listen. So when it comes to the consuming the content that will get you the results, time is super easy. Then the question is, with your business or the inner work or the certification, the application of the things. Yeah. And that's really up to you. It's truly up to you how much time and focus and energy you want to be spending outside of the sessions to get the results. Like anything that is new, and I'm going to be really honest with this, and then I'm also going to talk about who this is not which you might think is a bit weird, but this is important as well. This is not for you if. When anything is new and you've not done it before, it requires more energy and focus until it starts to get easy. I'd like you to think of the first time you did, I'm assuming you've all done a plank before, or a squat, or a headstand, or those of you who really like to get into a yoga practice, maybe you even like to try crow pose, bakasana, something like that. Think of the first time you tried to do it. And then after practicing it a few times, then how much energy and focus it required. And then once you've been doing it for a period of time, until it got to the point where maybe the plank was then your warm up, and then the plank was too easy that it was, you're like, blah, plank, whatever, because it becomes so easy for you. It's exactly the same with everything that you're learning to apply. At the beginning, it requires a bit more of your energy and focus until it becomes easy, until it flows. So one of the processes we help you with is the Terra barrier. And this is what is really going to be a game changer for you. We did the Terra barrier in our last free event. For anybody who would like to watch that replay, it's a Bob Proctor teaching. And it's about how do you go from where you are to where you want to be, and what happens in the middle, which is the Terra barrier. And this is what stops most people. Most people will be crossing that river. If you imagine you're crossing a river, you're on one bank where all of the grass has been eaten and all of the berries have been picked, and there's no food left. And you want to get over to the other bank because you can see trees like drenched in apples and lemons, and your like mouth is watering, like, I want to go eat those apples. And you've got to cross this river that's got a really strong current to get to the other side. So the process is learning to put the stepping stones down to get across and to face the fear of being pulled away by the current. And what happens is a lot of people will get halfway across the river and be too afraid and will walk back to the side where the food is all gone. And they'll tell themselves, because this place feels safe, they'll tell themselves, it was better there. Actually, I quite like it. No, I'm fine. I don't need the fruit on the other side of the river. I'm just going to stay where I'm at. And they will go back because that last portion of crossing the river scares them too much. And so a lot of what we do is we help you when you're at that point, because this happens in growth, when you're like, I don't want to go to the other side. We actually say, so do you want to go back to the side of the river where there's no food? Is that really what makes you happy? If not, this is what you can do to get to the other side. It's normal to feel afraid. You're fine. Keep going. And we guide you through that last bit. Any more questions? Okay, Helen's saying many thanks, have to go when life happens, storm in full flow. Yes, there's some storms going on in Ireland, right? April saying just going to pop off and watch the pre-recording of the empowerment workshop, realizing that's more what I need right now. Okay, perfect. Xanthe is saying if it's helpful for anyone to be able to talk about what I do, which is broad and doesn't fit into my Insta bio, the certificate helps with the perception of what I can offer. Amazing. The same way that a master's in performing arts did nothing more than consolidate all of my skills and make my theatre work make more logical sense to other people. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Xanthe. Because day one in the cert, we were actually talking about understanding the different modalities that you work with and how, what usage they have for your clients. And then the second, like one of the recordings in the Telegram group was then how do you package that into an offer? Yeah, so we then link it back into business. So it's like, can you actually understand what's going on for your client in their mind when you're teaching them, when you're coaching them, when you're mentoring them? How each resource, how each tool serves them, because that's the baseline. And then we go from there. And don't I'm not going to give you too much information. There's so much that can be said, and this is why I always say come back to the feeling. Yeah, come back to the feeling, because we take on so much information and then try and make the decision from there. Come back to the feeling. Okay, Jen, have to hop onto another call. We'll DM you. Thanks for another awesome session. Thank you, Tony. So with the certification, for those of you who have a lot of things that you work with already, it is about how do you then put that into a high ticket package, and how can you really see the value of what you already know and refine those skills and up level those skills as well. So if you have any more questions before we sign off, then pop those in the chat, as I do want to cover who this is not for, so you can really feel whether you're ready for this or not. So this is not for you if you're not ready for growth, because we will stretch you in a nice way. So if you're happy staying with where you're at and what you are looking for is just a little bit of improvement that doesn't require a lot of commitment or excitement or being stretched on your part, then the school's not for you. This is a space where we invite you to lean into leadership and to embody what that is. So wherever you're at right now, at the end of the year, you're going to be at a whole other level. And that does not happen by being partially committed to your own growth. And if at the end of this year, if you're not interested in being at a place where you can see maybe you've already doubled or tripled your income, or you can see clearly how to make that happen and have the structures in place. If that's something you're like, yeah, that's nice. If you're not willing to look at what's not currently working in your business and change those things, then the school's not for you. Because in this space, we will be highlighting for you, okay, this wants to grow, that's not working anymore. Let's move with this, let's move with this. The space is, if you're ready to be a leader or you recognize you're a leader, if you're ready to be a leader for yourself and your clients, then the school is the space for you. Okay, I feel like I've shared a lot of things and I don't want to overwhelm you with information. Okay, so Chiara, you were able to come to the live event because of the storm, so your work is closed today. So delighted to hear how you guide people to shift their thoughts, beliefs, and move forward. Today, I have much gratitude for the storm and being here. Amazing. Does this work for those just starting off in their business? Great question. So I mentioned before that this is great for beginners and advanced. The beauty of coming in when you're just starting is there is so much I did not know when I started my business that you will get to tap into that wisdom. So you're beginning from the ground up, putting things in place so that you've got something scalable that gets easier and better the more time you spend on it. When it's somebody coming in who already has a business set up, it's a process of looking at where the holes are. So where are you leaking energy? Where are you leaking time? Where are you leaking money? And we're learning to plug those holes. So there is a beauty in both, because for some, you've already got the momentum. There's so much wisdom. It's like, oh, I refine this and get big change. When you're beginning, it's like, oh, I wouldn't even have known to start from this place. Yeah. So whether or not you join the school, Chiara, this is a piece of wisdom that I would have loved somebody to share with me when I first started. Go for a scalable model. Do not create a model that imprisons you and does not allow for growth, because it will require you then scrap things. You know, when you get to a glass ceiling where you have to give more of your time to make more money, and you find that you don't have more time, then that glass ceiling will force you to change the way you've set things up. Yeah. If I start, oh, can I read this out loud? Because I've realized it's direct to me. This last question that's been posed, Christina. If you're happy for me to read it out loud, I will. Otherwise, I can reply via DM. Yeah, okay, perfect. When it said direct message, I thought maybe that was private. If I start with tier 2, can I change to tier 3 later on? Will the price be the same as now? Great question. I've actually had several of you messaging me asking that. One of you who's already signed up and paid in full for the school, because this is a conversation we're having. Okay, let me pause a moment. So the first question, the answer is we encourage it. If you're at a place where one of two, you don't want to jump straight in at a higher tier, and you want to be in the space for a while and then see, oh, is it for me to upgrade? Fantastic. We encourage that. The other is the capacity, nervous system capacity. You know, you're like, I want to start at tier 2 so that I can begin with that learning process. And then when I'm ready and I've got that plate spinning, I come to tier 3. Yeah, which is fabulous, because for us, it's super important that you're not overwhelmed with the learning. Yeah. So we encourage those shifts. So we've got somebody who's coming at a certain tier and then they're looking at upgrading after a period of time. When it comes to the price being the same, Let me sit with that one. Let me sit with it, because we're quite, what's the word? Empowered with clear boundaries around prices, so that for people coming in, it's so clear. So when you know something, let's say you're like, I'm not sure about the tier 3, we empower you to make the decision by putting the price, saying this is when it's done. If we can see it's more to do with something else, then we have conversations. Yeah, but let me sit with it before I say anything specific. Xanthe is saying, Chiara, I'm only beginning and I mostly speak as my future self. In case you thought I'm already doing it, I'm not yet. It's all quite low-key at the moment. Thank you for sharing that, Xanthe. For those of you who don't know, Xanthe is in the school. And this is a beautiful thing to see how the flow can happen. For Xanthe, it was, we met in person once. And I knew, Xanthe, I haven't told you this yet, I knew when we met, I just had this feeling, oh wow, Xanthe's joining the school. I just knew it. I could feel it in your energy. Something was said by Kim, and I was like, oh wow, she's joining the school. And then he did. And Xanthe came to a free event, and then a low ticket offering we had, and then immediate ticket offering we had, and then joined the certification. And that was all in a period of how long, Xanthe? Was it a month or 6 weeks? It was very fast. Yeah, that's what we call a sales funnel. Yeah, so these are things that we help you set up as well, an aligned sales funnel. Some is saying, yes, very fast. I also just knew it was right for right now. Amazing. Any more questions? Is there anything you would like me to speak to before we sign off for today? It might not be specifically related to the memberships. Maybe it's something that's been spoken about in the event so far. I'm just looking through my notes. So main takeaways from today. What does your heart say? What does your gut say? Connecting with your future self and where you see yourself, what makes logical sense to do now? And here's one more that was mentioned another day. If you were to remove the perception of limitation of time and money, and you knew that everything was possible, you knew that inside of you, what would be your next move? Okay. So what to do next? Christina, that's very exciting. We just had somebody on the live make a decision there. That is super exciting. I'm thrilled for you and for those of us in the school welcoming you. Amazing. So it was a direct message, so I'll read it out loud. Thank you, Rachel. I'm joining the school. Yeah, let's go for tier 3. I will not worry about the money later. Yay. So that means that you can join us for the call, the bonus call we have next week. So just to plant this seed for you, Christina, what would you like to be supported with? What would you like to bring to the table? Would you just like to explain what you do in your business and for me to riff on what you say? Yeah. what I would like is my eyes on what's going on for you right now, so that when you start in the school, that I've got a very clear idea of who you are and where you're at, so I can speak to that directly. What to do next? Even if you're afraid, I'm not going to push anybody into anything. If you've got questions, just reach out. It wants to feel aligned. Yeah. So if you want to find out more, if you're afraid of making the move and you would like to speak about it with me and find out whether it's fear or it's actually not for you, then we can talk about that. I'm happy to. Those of you who won the competition, send me a message. And if you want to watch the terror barrier training from last event, send me a DM. I know I said a lot. If you want the links, message me. If you want to talk about it, message me. If you won the prize draw, message me. If you want the terror barrier, message me. Okay. Beautiful, ladies. I'm sad that this is our last session. I'm kind of like, because it's been so much fun. Absolute joy. It doesn't end here. Yeah. For those of you who are joining the school, that's obvious. For those of you who aren't ready yet, or you know it's not for you, what we are going to do, the WhatsApp group, until we finish this stage of the launch, we will be sharing bits here. Okay, this will go into a space where I do a little bit of transformational sales, just a little bit, preparing you for that. Okay, so you'll see how I sell, which is also very useful for those of you who are learning it as well. And then that will come to an end and it will become a high frequency radio station where we will share things that are going to help you. And it will just be a little bit every now and then. Yeah, just a little bit every now and then. Okay. The offers end the 31st of January. So if you're ready, make that. Send you all a massive hug. Absolute joy sharing with you. Olena saying thanks. And thank you today, Rachel. Yay, welcome, Christina. Delphine saying thank you so much. Amazing. Mwah. Love you all. Puss, puss.